Hello and welcome to Basement Fodder, the only show whose host did a write-in vote for Jesse the Body Ventura for president. I'm Todd.
I'm Dave.
President Body. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Well, you know Mean Gene.
He's not orange.
No.
Currently.
Currently in his run, he is not orange. No. But there was a body moment where he was orange.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. You know, we don't want to get political or anything like that because that's not what we do. But I will mention, however, that I'm really glad that to some extent this shit is over. I thought, the election's over now. Maybe Facebook will go back to normal. No.
Oh, hell no.
No, it's actually worse now than it was before.
We are going to get political for just 1 second. But it's going to be the issues, the awesome issues. 3 states elected to have marijuana become legal for recreational, and then I think 3 more made it legal for medical.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's happening, kids.
And one state, I believe, elected their first openly gay congressman, too.
Yep, and then there was a Hindu one, and another place was the first black female sheriff, and a bunch. That's the thing. Yeah, the big thing sucked, but if you look at a lot of the smaller stuff, there was a lot of groundbreaking stuff that got elected. So,
yeah.
I mean, you just got to look at that. But anyways,
try to accentuate the positive.
Yeah, that I can go back to California and get fucking blitzed.
You can already do that in California. You had your weed card.
Oh yeah, if you have a card now, you don't need a card.
I don't need a card. I just go to Michigan and
Michigan.
Well,
go to Jack Del Taco.
As you can hear, I still sound like shit.
That ever-lingering shit storm of coughing.
It's all that's left is the cough.
Yeah,
it's been a long week. I spent the weekend in Indiana for the Midwest Toyfest, which at the end of the show, after Dave and I are done talking, I've got about 25 minutes or so of audio that me and the basement Beesh Ariel recorded on the road, on the interstate.
Yeah, on the interstate.
Guest starring Siri, the male Siri from her phone, telling us where to be going. So that was interesting. I've never recorded in a moving car before. I know you and I did a parking lot show. Yeah, but we never recorded from a moving vehicle before, so that was interesting.
And I was in Wisconsin, LARPing.
Yeah. How'd that go, buddy?
It was a really pretty sight, and I met some cool people. Man, Wisconsin has some pretty thick and luxuriously curvy women. I'm not gonna lie.
That's all that cheese.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, go cheese, go Packers. Which that was a good thing for me. I'm a Packers fan, so they had all that stuff up there. I was like, yeah. It took everything I had not to come back with something. But I mean, as far as the game itself, it wasn't as exciting. But that's because they have a really small number of people that play at that chapter. So yeah.
It happens.
So I'm excited for this upcoming weekend where I'm back at my home chapter playing. So yeah, it'll be good. And it's the last game at this site before we move to the new site. So it's supposed to be all hell breaks loose.
Be super have a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm excited for tomorrow because tomorrow one of our listeners and friend of the show, Brandon Bean, is having another one of his comic book sales.
Fuck yeah!
And he lives right down the street from my house too, which is all super fun.
And there, it's that's our stomping ground. So we can just be I'm just gonna go sit down, grab a nice white box, put it right in my thigh region, and just start pedaling through comics, and I don't have to worry about some hipster from fucking Half Price Book crowding the shit out of me.
Sister's Jordache is on,
Yeah, I hate that stuff.
You're triggering me.
I'm gonna trigger my foot to shotgun blast up your ass. I don't know. There was that. It's that. I don't like where they place the comics there because you don't have enough room to sit and kind of really.
Yeah, that's true. They don't, because every time you want to sit down in the chair and start looking through comics, some jacket, can I get you, please? And they go in there and look around, and turn around in a circle and look around. Can I get out, please?
Yeah. But from what you've told me about this, it's a really good setup.
Yeah, he's got a room off of his garage, and it's kind of set up really well, and he's got a lot of comics in there. The address is 5876 Sundrops Avenue in Galloway. That's right outside of Columbus and Grove City area. It's probably about less than a 10-minute drive for us.
Yeah.
And it's November 12th and 13th. The 12th, 9 a.m. to... it looks like 9 to 6 on both days, but Brandon could probably correct that. But you can check it out. It's on Facebook.
This is the last sale of the year he's doing.
Yeah. Yep. And we're going to, of course, share the link. He's got boxes and boxes of dollar comics, lots of non-dollar comics, keys and graphic novels, Loot Crate and Marvel Core items and T-shirts. Estimate of over 50,000 books.
He added another like 4,000.
Yeah, and he takes cash, credit card, and PayPal. So
fuck yeah!
I don't even have to go to the bank now.
Sweet.
But I went last time.
Too much money. Daddy's gonna spend too much money.
Yeah, the Beesh and I went last time, and I bought a big stack of dollar books.
I'm coming back with some shit. Like, it's happening.
But yeah, definitely check that out. I'm gonna share the link again now while we're doing this.
Yeah, if you guys are in the area and you just love digging through books, and like last time when you came back, you got some pretty cool Loot Crate shit. So
yeah, that's where I got that the D20 that D20. You make an ice cube out of.
Yeah, so I mean. There's some cool stuff. You guys are in the area or like not too far away from the area, I would definitely check it out. You'll probably see us tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to try to get over there tomorrow since we both have the day off and we're not engaged otherwise in doing some
I've got all day to sit there and hover over long boxes. It's been a glorious thing.
Yes.
I haven't been able to do that
beautiful.
forever. Well, we haven't really been able to do that in forever. Like past couple cons, we haven't been able to do it as well, and like... Half Price haven't been able to really kind of have that freedom.
Half Price, since they changed their...
it's not worth it.
They've seriously just killed my interest in it.
Yeah.
Because they overcharge for books now, and it's just like, well, you've killed my interest in looking at comics now.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited about that tomorrow. But last night, we went to see Doctor Strange.
Yes, we did.
And it was... man. Alright, so... we'll get it out of the way. Spoilers will probably abound in this because we don't generally censor spoilers very much.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to hear about spoilers, skip ahead.
Yep, we're going to give you about like a 5-second kind of 1, 2...
Girl from Ipanema comes calling.
Alright, fuck yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So,
what did you think about Doctor Strange?
I liked it. I thought... one, it was... visually way different than pretty much anything else Marvel has really done. But I think story-wise, too, it's probably one of the stronger stories I think that I've seen them come out with lately. Especially, I mean, I know it has a lot to do because like origin stories are usually kind of pretty strong.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the character, the material, and what that all entails. You know, like the whole mystical stuff. You know, the actors they chose to use, and just the subject matter himself, because, like, you know, the broken bodies, the trying to repair yourself, that, like, suicidal-ish type, you know. Oh, God, I'm still dying, too. You know, just that whole level. Yeah, it's a hack-heavy show. But I thought it was amazing. I thought it was probably one of my favorites. Like, it'll probably...
yes, despite the heavy Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, okay, so, like, I am not, you know, an avid fan of Benedict Cumberbatch, but I will say he played the character well. He did a good job as Stephen Strange. It made me believe, like, I've read tons of Strange books, and he really did feel like Doctor Strange. Yeah. Like, you know, he had that kind of, like, off-wit humor that he kind of does. And that his was good because he was arrogant and like confident and stuff, but his arrogance wasn't so like overwhelming. Like, you know, sometimes when they try to play characters that are arrogant, they come across so like irredeemably arrogant, and you're like, ugh. He didn't do that. Like, he bordered that line of confidence and arrogance, like, and I think he did a really good job with that. I don't know. For me, Rachel McAdams was kind of she was just there.
She was an afterthought.
She was an afterthought. Like, to me...
it was like a forced love interest sort of a thing.
It was one of those, like, most of it happened in the past. So it was like...
off-screen.
Yeah, it was like a lingering taste in your mouth kind of thing, where it was like, yeah okay.
Even more so than, like, Natalie Portman in the first Thor movie. Like,
yeah. But, I mean, I understand because, like... Doctor Strange's love interest stuff in the comics has always been a weird subject to kind of do. So, I understand. I really liked who they got for Mordo. I like
that
Mordo.
guy. I'm not familiar with him as an actor. He has an interesting name that I won't even attempt to pronounce.
Yeah, I've seen him in a few things. He was in that. He was in a martial arts movie before, where it was like the fighting type. I can't remember what it's called. He was in The Martian, 12 Years a Slave. What is it? There was 2012. Yeah, he was in that one. Oh, I think that was the Red Belt one. Yeah. Children of Men. He's been in a lot of very, like, really strong, like, dramas. Oh, yeah, he was in Serenity, too. He was the operative. He did a really good job because, man, Mordo in the comics, you fucking hate Mordo. Like, Mordo's a shit stain. You hate him. But in this one, you know, because he hasn't gone to that point yet, you really get a different side of him. Like, you really like him because it's like in the beginning he's the one that's going to bat for Strange. You know, and he genuinely seems like a caring person who wants to do the right thing. He's a little rigid in like he's very much like these are the rules and stuff, but he seems like a really great guy. And he's got a good humor too. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I like him very much. He's a stabilizing element that's needed. Like, but he's like one of those characters that like his beliefs are kind of what do him in. Yeah, and that's like that's a good thing to do, is to like have a villain in the movie, and then set up a villain for your future. Like, it's both an origin story of the character and an origin story of the villain, and the best villains are the ones that are born out of the lives of heroes.
This is literally on the list of good things to ever come out of the Green Lantern movie. There's very few things, and one of them was Mark Strong's Sinestro. Yeah. And this is a very Mark Strong Sinestro type thing. You love Mark Strong's Sinestro in the movie. He's a kind of a dick, but he's still a good guy. But it is very much that moral code and compass and, you know, things that, like, you have to live by is what ends up being the downfall. Yeah. Wong was interesting. Wong is probably the most different from how he is, or at least portrayed in the comics, which is good. I love that his name is actually Wong. It's Benedict Wong. Yeah, which Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong. Yeah.
I don't know, like he was fun and like, but he's very much in the comics. He's very much like loyal manservant sort of, you know, like mincing sort of character, and then like
this one, he's a steward. He's very much like he becomes the librarian of, you know, their books, and he seems very, like, stoic, like he doesn't have a sense of humor, and, like, Strange spends, like, the entirety of the movie every time they're interacting kind of trying to, like, do pop culture references and jab it at him to kind of, like, get some humor, and he's just, like, stone-facing the shit out of him and stuff. But then there's some, like, moments later that are kind of fun. Like, you can see where this relationship is building between them that eventually becomes what we see in the comics to a degree, like the friendship. But I think the days of Wong being the, like, loyal manservant thing are not going to be, because he's not the manservant, like, character anymore, which is good. He needs to not be that. He's more of a mentoring partner. I wouldn't say sidekick, but mentoring type thing, and more of a Watson. Yeah. He kind of has that more of a Watson feel to him. Go for it.
I'm gonna say the one thing, and it keeps like, okay, we're on the IMDb page so I can get actors' names and stuff, but I keep watching they have like a little ad going by that keeps showing the different people in the movie, and every time it gets back to Benedict Cumberbatch, I have to mention this because it kept driving me crazy the whole movie. He's wearing a stupid wig the whole movie. No matter like what his hair is, he's always wearing a weird wig. Like, I don't know if he was bald or something at the time, or like if he just didn't like his hair or something. I don't know. But he's always wearing a wig, and it never looks real. Yeah. Like, they tried really hard to give him that, like, Doctor Strange sort of classic hairstyle, I guess, But all they really needed to do was just let him have hair and, like, gray out the sides or something. Like, it really wasn't necessary to give him this giant poofball pompadour thing that, like, looks very much like a wig. And even when his hair is long and, like, he's got a beard and stuff when he's in Kathmandu, he's still looking like he's wearing a shitty wig. Yeah. Like, that was one of the only things, like, it just kept driving me nuts. Like, it doesn't take you out of the movie, and it's a nitpicky thing. It's just it's just stuff I notice. Yeah. Like...
I didn't notice because I didn't care.
Work. Yeah, there's such good hair work in the rest of the movie, and hair work in general in movies is so good these days that, like, when there's a bad wig, it always sticks out to me. Yeah. It's just, like, it was unnecessary. But no, like, I like it. I liked his performance. I don't like him as an actor in the least. No. He has an ability to, like, not emote with his face whatsoever. Yeah. Which drives me insane. And, like... I don't know, like, he's fine. Like, the movie was very good. It was excellent, I would say, actually. He fits the character well. He looks like the character.
What'd you think of Tilda Swinton's Ancient One? Because there was a lot of stuff about her because it was, like, a woman and she was white, and then, like, they're like, oh, the whitewashing and stuff.
And yet, like, goes in the shell. But, like...
yeah.
I don't care about shit like that, to be honest. Like, if it's, like, belligerent and blatant, like the fucking Avatar movie, or, like, Ghost in the Shell, or something like that, where it's like, oh my god, literally every, gender and or nationality is completely, blatantly changed.
Because that's the thing, where they're, like, bitching about hers, but then it was like nobody said anything about Mordo. Like,
yeah, Mordo in the comics is kind of an old fat white guy.
Yeah,
so but nobody cared about that. Yeah. Like, so it's just like I don't give a shit about stuff like that. It's more about performance for me, and it's Tilda Swinton. Like, you
can't deny her performance.
Yeah, like she's an amazing actress.
I think they did a really good job as like they give you a little bit of backstory of who she is. Like, she's supposed to be Celtic and all this stuff, but like the way they have her. She literally looks so much like that David Bowie androgynous, where it's like, she's a female, but it's not like...
It's the thing that she does best. Like, it's like in Constantine movie Gabriel. And shit. Like,
she's so good in Gabriel.
She has very androgynous features or whatever, and so she works well for these sort of characters. And she's a really, really good actress.
Strong actress. And it was cool because I feel like the thing they were trying to kind of showcase with this is that when you kind of become the sorcerer supreme like she does and stuff, you kind of lose your identity. You basically, like, who you were in the past is shed off like a skin and stuff, and it's like you basically become the Ancient One. Like, he's like, who is she? Where is she from? All this stuff, and they're like, we don't know all this information. It's like you take on the persona, and who you were gets stripped away, and there's been plenty before, because they even talk about all this, the Ancient Ones, Sorcerer Supremes before her. So it's, it's one of those things where it's like, well, the original Ancient One in the comics, and I'm like, okay, well, they're just kind of trying to say this would be a different one. This there could have possibly been an old Asian guy, Ancient One, but in this time period,
to me, it's like, okay, were you saying, like, would you rather have some old Asian guy, but he's not as good an actor, or do I want somebody who's a good actor but not looking like the character necessarily? Yeah. I'm going to say I want the better actor because that's the shit I give a shit about. Yeah. But then there's, like I said, it's not like whitewashing doesn't exist, because it obviously does, and like the Avatar movie is just like such a gross example of that. Like,
and I feel like that Ghost in the Shell movie is going to be like it too.
Yeah, and like they showed a little like weird fucking viral type trailer thing for the Ghost in the Shell thing, and I was like, wow, way to take like a very Asian anime and whitewash the living piss out of it. And like, but I mean, I go back to that Avatar movie because literally everyone in that is not what they're supposed to be remotely. Like, I don't even think are there any Asian characters in that? Like.
You mean actors? Yeah, actors, I don't remember. Think that there I never saw it because just seeing the trailer, I was like, white guy, white girl, white guy. I was like, what the shit? Somebody's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But like, there's ridiculous levels of it, and then there's just like, okay, who's better for the part? Like, I don't really care.
And then there's Mad Melkson, is Caecilius.
He was a good like low tier villain.
Yeah. He was a good, like, introductory villain.
Yep.
He had strong story as far as, like, motivation for why he was doing what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And it was story that you had to go through the movie to eventually find all of it out. I mean, it's Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Great actor. He
has good presence.
Charismatic as fuck,
Yeah.
while giving you simple lines.
Mm-hmm.
Does great action well. Did it again. The makeup they did for them was really good.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah. I love that one of his henchmen was Scott Adkins. And then
that too,
yeah, he was cool. But by far one of the best actors in this movie is the Cloak of Levitation. That fucking cloak is awesome. Like,
all right, I'm gonna tell you people this. Like, you're either gonna love this or hate it.
It's the
carpet from Aladdin. It literally is.
It's great.
And I was right on the border. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, fine. It's fine. Like, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But it's right on the border of Goofy.
Yeah.
Right on the border of Goofy.
It is. But
so some people are going to hate it, and I know they will.
Yeah, but that's also that's what happens when you let Disney, you know, have any kind of influence type stuff in it. And you know,
it was reminding me of the rug from Aladdin and the fucking suit from my favorite Martian movie.
Yeah, like it is one of those things where like they had talked about it early, like these artifacts, these powerful artifacts, where magic was so strong they had to imbue things with the magic so it could be, you know, dealt with. And you know, Mordo had the staff of the Living Tribunal and these super cool like hopping boots and stuff, and you know, Strange is all like, when do I get one? And he's like, you don't pick it, it picks you. Like, it has to connect with you. And which that's funny, because if you saw what Wong had, did you see the weapon he had? Which that's familiar. The cloak picked Strange, and it was interesting how it went down. And when you watch it, you'll understand why the cloak kind of picks him and stuff. But it is very. This one has the most personality out of like all the other things. Kind of seems like, oh, okay, your energy clicked with its energy. Yeah. This one is very much like it personality wise was like, I like you and shit.
The biggest issue I had with it is not necessarily the goofiness, because the goofiness, like, it is what it is. But like, for a movie of this budget, it should have looked a little better in places. There were definitely places where I thought it was like, well, that's obviously not a real thing whatsoever. Yeah. Like, it had that kind of like, the problem I have with Transformers or certain movies like that, where you're just like, boy, that thing is very obviously not real.
Yeah. That's too CG.
It's like, if you're gonna, especially with a cape, like, that's a trick. Like, if it's a cape and it's gonna be doing that, like, a lot of people wouldn't even know necessarily that, like, the cape that Superman has in the current Superman movies is not real.
Not real. Same with Batman.
And with Batman, like, they don't look not real. Like, they look, for the most part, like, there's a couple times where you're like, I don't think a real piece of fabric would do that.
Man of Steel, it's pretty. There's a lot of blatant times where you can't.
Like, this one, it's like, unless he's just like, it's a scene where he's just standing there and he's talking or something like that. Any other time where it's like doing something, it doesn't look like a real thing.
I think that also, too, kind of lends itself to the fact that it is a living thing. It's kind of hard to kind of...
It did look like a cartoon to me. Like, quite a few times it looked like very cartoonish.
It's hard to kind of, like, take yourself out of it and be like, oh, okay, this cloak with a personality is a real thing. So, I mean, it is kind of one of those...
That was an issue at the time. I was just like, it was poorly rendered a few times. Like, that was more my problem with it. It just looked too much like a cartoon. It looked like a cartoon that was sitting on his shoulders. Like, it was like Roger Rabbit or something. Like, he had a Roger Rabbit cape.
I didn't have as much problem with that.
But those are things that I look at in movies.
Yeah, I tend to like just kind of take back and enjoy the movie, especially the first time. The first time I'll take the movie as a whole and kind of that, and then I'll go back a second time and kind of...
It doesn't hurt my enjoyment of it at all.
No, that's just how I do it. I like kind of, you know, let all that stuff slide for the first time just to kind of take it as a whole so I don't miss anything. Yeah. And then I'll go back and kind of like look at it. For me, there was one time where Melkson's makeup kind of... was a little off for me, because it was like when he was starting to tear up, it looked like the makeup was not gonna hold well for it. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, the makeup looks great until you see like natural like salt tears will eat through that shit really quick. And it kind of, there was a certain sheen it had on it, but then when his eyes started to water, you could see where it started to take a different thing, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to hold well, you know. But yeah, there was little bits and things. Don't go see this in 3D if you're on acid
or anything.
Yeah.
Like, my God, dude,
it's super trippy. It's cool as fuck, but holy shit, is it intensely trippy? And it's not like slow about it either. Like the Inception building stuff is kind of like has a smooth pace to it, but the whole scene where they're like basically, you know, lighting Strange up with, you know, like, hey, this is the other world, where she basically like knocks his ass into the astral plane and all kinds of stuff. Ooh, that is intense stuff, because it's just like he's just rocketing through multiple dimensional stuff.
Yeah, it was a hell of a mindfuck. Yeah.
And that mirror dimension thing, like, kind of will fuck with you. It's cool, but it will fuck with you if you're not expecting it.
Yeah, I think if we'd seen this in 3D, I might have puked a couple times.
Yeah, that's why I was
there's some shit in there that's like, oh intense. God, I don't think I can handle that in 3D.
A little intense. I love the magic, though. The magic.
It has a very, like, real feel to it. Like, it's very raw. Like, when they do magic, it almost looks like sparks that happen when you weld or something. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like very,
you're crafting. You're literally, like, hand forging magic.
Mm-hmm. It's very neat the way it's very, like...
It's very
it's an interesting concept on it, yeah.
It's very, like sacred geometry and, like, scientific formulations and stuff. It kind of... It expends on that whole, like, when Thor was talking about sometimes it's science, sometimes it's magic. It's magic, but it has a very sublime scientific, like, properties and laws to it as far as how they did it, which is interesting that they would go about it that way.
Yeah.
But I think it looks amazing. And the fight sequences with it are very interesting. How they shape weaponry and... do different things with it. I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's like really like the only things I have to talk about that are like weird things or things that stood out to me are just very small things or like, you know, detail things, because they're really overall it's just really very solid. Like, it's well done, well directed, well choreographed, well acted. You know, there's not a lot to really complain about whatsoever with it. Like,
it was very deep story, very character stuff. For me, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this is very similar to Iron Man, and I'm like, okay, I can understand where you'd want to think that, but I think the striking difference for me is at the end of this movie, I find Strange more redeemable than anything Tony Stark ever was.
My God, he's not nearly the fucking dillhole that Tony Stark is. Like, Tony Stark, to me, even at this point, is still completely unlikable. Like, even through all these movies and all the stuff that he's done and being a hero, whatever, I still hate the son of a bitch. Like, he's still a dick face. He's still a dick face at every turn. And even when he's trying to be good, he's still a dick face. Like, he's never not a dick face. But, like, Stephen Strange is like, yeah, he's a surgeon, but here's the thing, like, if you, like, that's kind of a thing with doctors and surgeons, like, they kind of have that arrogance about them, so it kind of makes sense that he's that kind of person.
Plus, if you look at, like, as you go along through the movie, you understand how his intellect is. He talks about it. He has a photographic memory and, like, a...
They call it photographic, but the way to describe it, it's more like an eidetic memory, like where he just memorizes basically anything he sees or hears or any of that shit. Like, but when you have that kind of thing, everyone else seems kind of stupid to you because you know everything and you pick up everything instantly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, like, you become kind of arrogant because it's kind of hard to, like, function within society that way.
And then add that to the fact that, like, his mind always works in a constant state of, like, taking that knowledge and using it in a creative way. Almost in the idiot savant type way. And it's like he necessarily sees things in a pattern people don't see, and he's like, why don't you see this? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Type thing. And so it's a different... Whereas Tony pretty much just likes to drop his intellectual dick on the table sometimes and be like, yeah, I'm smart. I made shit.
Yes, exactly. He is, like, the master of, like, throwing his dick out there for the world to see. Like, oh, look at my giant smart scientist dick. Suck it!
And he's got one of the easiest buttons you can push. Like, you go for his parents, or you basically call him out on not truly like being a hero and put him in this state where it's like he's got to prove that he can actually be a hero, and he'll go way too far. Like he'll take it way too, The
thing, like, to complain that it's too much like Iron Man, like, this literally almost completely follows step by step his actual origin story. So blame the people who created him in the first place for that.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
The thing is, like, with Iron Man and Stark in general, is like Tony Stark is Bruce Wayne if Bruce Wayne was like the dickhead that he pretends to be all the time.
If Bruce wasn't a cover story, like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
like that is to me a fundamental thing where it's like Tony Stark is Tony Stark, Iron Man is a persona, like he's like I'm Iron Man and stuff. Bruce Wayne is Batman. Batman is who he really is. Bruce Wayne is the persona.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of the difference in that sense.
Yeah.
So, but I think overall it was probably one of the better ones I've seen in a while.
Trailers were a mixed bag.
Yeah.
They had a trailer for the new XXX movie, which, my God, I couldn't possibly care about.
If it involves Vin Diesel and big explosions, he doesn't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. And you know what? And that's the sad thing about, like, he doesn't even give a fuck, like, about that movie. And, like, never wanted to do it, but lots and lots of money is a friend. And you're going to do it,
No, maybe. Can't really hold that against him because...
I don't hold it against him. It just literally looks like one of the worst, like, cinematic abortions I've ever seen.
I mean, because that's how we got, the last Indiana Jones, and
Also
that's
horrible.
how Han Solo was in the last Star Wars. It was one of those things where we're like, we're going to throw lots of money at you. And you're like, well, fair enough.
That looked awful.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else.
There was Logan.
That was that one and the Guardians of the Galaxy one were the only two trailers that were, like... It made me excited to see it.
Then there was the XXX, and then the stupid Ghost in the Shell one kept popping through.
There was another one, too, that I can't remember what it was now, but it was like, boy, I couldn't possibly... Oh, it was Pirates of the goddamn Caribbean.
Yeah, the other fucking thing you could not
I heard you say, like,
about.
let's see how far we can beat this dead horse, but boy, that's the fucking truth, isn't it?
It is. It's like, literally, the only person...
I will say that, like, Javier Bardem looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, he looked like he was underwater all the time. Cause
he's like a ghost and very, like...
His face was, like, half-eaten and shit.
Yeah.
That looked cool. Does that enough to make me give a shit? It wasn't even enough when Davy Jones looked like Cthulhu to make me watch that shit. I don't fucking care. Who could? Who the fuck cares? Who is clamoring for another goddamn movie at this point? Because I don't think the last one did all that well.
Apparently enough that they're wanting to do it and stuff.
Those movies are almost single-handedly responsible. Those and the Tim Burton movies, unfortunately, are like single-handedly responsible for making me hate Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I think that's the problem, too, is that the quintessential character that's in all of them, is Johnny Depp's character, Jack Sparrow and stuff. If they had shaken it up where it's like, we don't have Jack Sparrow anymore, we went back to Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley's characters, people might be like, oh, okay, because people have actually been like, when are we going to see them again? Like, it's always just been about Jack Sparrow. And it's like, I get it, he's the redeemable douchebag foppish pirate thing, and he screams a lot. Cause...
My God, dude, that got old by the end of the first movie. Let alone we're like 6 fucking movies in at this point.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like you'd have to strap me to a chair with like irons to get me through that motherfucker, and I'd still probably like gnaw my own shoulder off.
Would you be more apt to see it if they didn't have Johnny Depp in it? Like,
I still wouldn't care, but I'd probably be able to sit through it easier.
If his character wasn't in it anymore, if it was still like the pirate stuff, but there was like new, fresh characters that were different, or like if they had brought back Orlando Bloom, if it was something different,
it would be less painful to try to watch. But I still wouldn't give a shit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it just wasn't, they weren't going back to the dead horse that is Johnny Depp, and
they will beat that fucking horse like literally into that yellow bastard ground.
Yeah. Like, the Logan trailer by far was the best. I love the Guardians one. But I mean it looks a lot.
It's mostly a teaser.
Yeah, it's mostly a teaser, and it looks a lot like the first one, which is good.
Yeah.
But man, the Logan one is so different from anything we've seen. And, I mean, you can't, like, as much as I like Guardians, you can't help it because this is Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart's last run as these characters. In fact, I'm pretty sure, you know, like, somebody dies in this movie. Like,
I'm pretty sure Patrick Stewart dies in the movie.
they're pretty sure, because, like, from what you're getting from these trailers, pretty much the rest of the X-Men are gone, like dead. It's pretty much like these two have somehow survived to the end.
It looks really good. It really looks good.
God damn it, when you throw Johnny Cash into a fucking soundtrack and it, like, those visuals, that's the thing, like, if you're a person who's read enough Wolverine, like, across, like, older classic Wolverine and like all this other stuff, you're smart enough to know that, like, everybody's like, oh, but he's got the healing factor and all this stuff, and I'm like, yes, the healing factor keeps him regenerating, and he can, you know, live longer than most people and stuff like that, but he still gets old. The body can only do so much regeneration, and we've hit that level now where he's an old, broken man. He wouldn't be this broke if he hadn't, like, had to, like, spend years as being, like, an X-Men and doing all the things that he's done. If he was just a normal average guy, he probably wouldn't be the broke shell of a man that he is kind of right now, but he is. Like, you see the scenes where it's like his hands are constantly shaking, he's scarred as fuck, you know, like, even his mutation is slowing down, and it's just, it's the end. Like, it's that, like, crazy.
It's gonna be interesting to see how this one does. Yeah,
and I'm really hoping, like, pretty much everybody thinks the little girl is X-23. I really hope it is, because, like,
that'd be cool.
Because the X-23 is a beautiful way to transition into it. That's what they did in the comics. But also, the X-23 is a better story than, like, say, the Dakin, where his son, because his son's a fucking doucher.
Yeah.
But, like, X-23 is a beautiful story because it's, like, you see that whole, like, how he was with Jubilee, or how when they replaced her with Rogue type thing, like, you know, you can see it in the trailers where it's like he doesn't want that attachment again because he knows, you know, something's gonna happen again. And we're finally getting the full hard R, rated R Wolverine movie we've wanted.
Yeah.
And it's been so long coming that I've kind of tried to imagine, like, you get glimpses of it every so often, like in the second Wolverine, or in the second X-Men, you know, there's, like, those glimpses where he kind of goes a little feral. What was it? The Apocalypse movie, there was that. But this is the one where it's like, you have the old, broke down animal cornered. Yeah. This is where he's at his most dangerous, and this is what we're getting to see.
Oh, yeah,
and it looks, and the scenery of it looks so just dark, desert, dreary, broken, all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah,
I'm loving it.
Yeah, it was the most exciting trailer that we saw.
For sure.
The end credit scenes were good. There was two. There was one that pushed the universe along, and then there was a second one that pushed the story along.
Yeah.
Which, the first one, which pushed the universe along, was... I mean, it was okay.
It was okay.
It wasn't anything super revelations type stuff. It was things we had kind of heard in the rumor mills. But I thought it was amusing. It was enough to be like, okay, well, we know what we're going to get in these, like, next couple movies. That's cool, you know, for the universe. Kind of gives us a glimpse into another movie. Yeah. And then the one at the end, though, is that one that you needed to really kind of, like, set up for the next big bad for Strange. Yeah. You know, which was really good. And it makes sense. It makes sense if you've watched the movie. This is where this was going to go. Yeah. And I like how they did it. And it's still one of those things where it's like you still feel for the guy. Yeah. Like, it's one of those, it's like, is it justifiable? You have to kind of argue that back in your head. Like,
those are the best villains to me. Yeah. Those are the best villains. The best villains are the ones that, like, you can see their side of the story. Yeah. Or you can see the point of why they are what they are. Yep. They've taken it to a point where it's not okay anymore, but you can still understand why it got there.
Yeah. Like, if you understand them fundamentally as a person, you understand why they are the way they are.
Clown fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good overall. Like, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one.
Oh, excuse me, I'm about half tired here.
Yeah.
I gotta go to work in a few hours, but I wanted to mention that, like, when Ariel and I recorded in the car, we forgot to mention this one thing that happened, and I wanted to quickly put it out there because I was entertained by it.
What
but
did
like,
you do?
No, it wasn't. It's not even anything weird. It's just like you and I have seen these before at cons where like they have those booths that have the mystery boxes.
Oh.
Yeah. These were the ones that look like the question mark boxes from Mario.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
We usually see those at the Wizard Worlds.
Well, they had one of those booths there.
Okay.
And it was like $37 for a big one and $16 for a little one. And the big one was like guaranteed to have so much in it.
Random,
weird, right?
numbers.
I know, weird numbers.
$37.
Right? And then like they were saying that like all the big ones had, well, all of them had like you could have a paper in there that like you win one of the bigger prizes that they had that were outside of the boxes. That was like there was like this big like 3 foot tall like Hulk Hogan thing, and then just like this other thing that was cool. And then there was this big purple like. I guess it's some sort of anime thing, but it was like a big purple bean-looking dog, like plushie. It was huge. Okay. So she was like debating the entire time about getting one, like going back and forth. And I'm like, well, if you want to get one, get one. Like, it's, you never know. Like, I didn't have great luck with the mystery box that I got, but I didn't get one from one of those dealers. I got one from a shitty asshole that needed to be slapped in the face. But I was like...
I made a mystery box out of a bunch of shit I just had around, like, kind of deal.
I said, like, okay, so if it's good, it's awesome, and you have something fun to talk about. If it's bad, it sucks, and you have something fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I approach all this stuff when it comes to it, because we do this.
Yeah.
And so it's all just another thing to talk about. And so
I mean,
it's
really,
going to
when
be
you
worth
think
it
about it, it's $35 to $40 for a box of multiple things that you're getting at a con.
Yeah.
Con prices are ridiculous. So depending on how much it's saying you should be getting, if you at least get like 3 or 4 things,
it's like 6 things.
6 things is good for $40. So plus you possible chance of getting the big paper to get the big prize.
I'm trying to remember exactly what was in there, but like the couple of things I could remember, like we did a live video, so it was on the thing. But one of them was shut up, phone. One of them was a domo, like a big stuffed domo, like a leprechaun domo, which I got that, so that was great. Yeah. One of them was one of those Diamond Select Sin City figures, the Nancy, the black and white version.
Nice.
Which looked really cool. One of them was this like portfolio of I don't know if a lot of you guys probably know that it's one of the oldest like long running independent like bigger books called Concrete. She got like a portfolio thing from like the 80s, like that had like these cool old pictures and stuff. It was very cool. It was a neat, different thing. Then there was a couple other things too, like, and she got the paper for one of the big things. And the big thing that she won was the big purple bean dog thing.
Oh, okay.
Which she went nuts over, because to me it looks like a giant purple like burrito baby.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge. It's probably like a good like 3 feet long by like probably a good 2.5 foot around. So it's a big fucking plushie. So it ended up being a fun thing. But like the guy, when she went to go collect the prize, the guy like followed her back over or whatever, because she's gave him a card was going to give him a card, but she didn't have one. Yeah. So he followed back over to give him a card. But I wanted to mention it because we said we would mention it when we were talking about it. So we didn't get to do it when we were doing the thing. So I thought I'd mention it now. Yeah. And I also will plug the story that we tell about the Mexican restaurant, because I told you that story, and that was a lot of fun too. Amigo. Amigo. We went to Amigoville. It was great. Yeah. But no, it was an absolutely fun time. Big thanks to Mike Trent and all the people at. I got to meet the Night Mage cosplayer guy, and he's really great in person. And he did a great Captain Planet the first day.
Oh, did he do Captain Planet?
Don Cheadle Captain
Planet.
And they had Planeteers and everything, and it was great. They were doing videos and shit. And then the next day, he was Zeus from No Holds Barred, and Super Casey was Hulk Hogan.
Nice.
And there was a guy who was Ultimate Warrior too, so it was a lot of fun. They did a lot of fun stuff in cosplay, and he was giving away like free prints for donations for Make-A-Wish Foundation. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's Michael Nightmage Wilson. Yeah, and that guy's a really hell of a stand-up guy.
I got a friend named Michael Wilson.
So yeah, big props to all those people, and we'll definitely be back next year for Midwest Toyfest. And
maybe I'll be there this year.
Got to do my first run my first panel, and that was a lot of fun. We actually had people in the audience. Believe it
or not. I was gonna say, it did better this time.
That was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to go back. But cool. Do you have anything else before we wrap it up?
I mean, all the shows this week were good.
Yeah.
They cast Talia.
Yes.
Talia al Ghul. It's the chick who was in Andromeda. She was the main chick from Jason X, the space one and stuff. She is going to be Talia, which will be interesting. Other than that, not really
The other
much.
time I would know her name because it's a weird shit. Lexa Doig, that's her name.
Yeah.
I want to mention quickly, I didn't do a Kickstarters of the week this week, but I will mention that JR's Kickstarter is on right now for Affinity. Check that out. And, of course, Dirk's Kickstarter is still going strong.
For Naughty Fun Time Comic.
Yeah, belligerently large amount of money that they've gotten for that one already. It's almost, I think they're like 1 or 2 steps away from the actual
the Bible,
goal. Yeah, the Bible, the omnibus goal.
Yeah.
So, check that out.
Keep pumping, keep chugging that thing along.
Keep chugging that bastard along. But
leather bound Bible.
That's basically it for this week. We're going to go ahead and cut to the footage of Ariel and I on the way back from Midwest Toyfest. But I want to say, of course, the normal shilling. If you like what you heard today on the Basement Fodder podcast, you can, of course, find us at our network home of digitalnerdage.com and our website, thebasementofdoom.wordpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook under a myriad of things, and on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr at Basement Fodder. And we will see you guys, as always, from the basement. I'm Todd.
I'm Dave.
And we'll see you guys next week. Please stay tuned for the footage from Indiana.
And go to the freaking comic sale tomorrow.
Yes, go to the comic sale, or I'll stabs you.
With my knife.
With his knife, because I don't have any. Well, I have one somewhere, but I can't find the fucking thing.
Well, this is a new fun experiment in audio. I've never actually done this before, but we are actually driving. Well, I'm not driving. The Basement Beesh is driving. Say hello, Basement Beesh.
Hi.
Yes. And of course, I'm Todd, and I'm joined by the Basement Beesh, Ariel. We are in Indianapolis, well, outside of Indianapolis somewhere now, because we just left Jack in the Box. And we're heading back towards home after the end of the weekend. We've spent the last 2 days, well, technically, like 2.5 days.
2.5.
In Indiana for Midwest Toyfest, which we just finished day 2 of, and we're heading back from now. And it's been a fun and interesting weekend. We've tried to fill it with as much as we could and have as much fun as possible, while actually still being at the con and everything else, and getting in like some fun stuff like eating at places that we don't normally eat at, which is a big thing I like to do on vacations and trips and stuff, is to make sure that we don't eat at places that we can eat at home, because it's just, I don't know, it's somehow more fun that way. Don't you think?
I think it's fun. We meet new people. We meet our amigos.
Oh, amigos. We'll get to that story in a minute. But that definitely needs to be told. We came in Friday night. We drove in Friday night after we both got off work. I had to work a day shift, which was super fun. And why super fun? I mean, not fun at all. And I borrowed the Beesh's car, and then I picked her up, and we drove out here. I think we got here, about like 7, 8 o'clock?
7, 8, yeah.
Somewhere between 7 and 8 o'clock. Into our awesome hotel room. We got a cool double room. Originally, Dave was going to go with us too, but he ended up going to a LARPing event for Dystopia Rising out in Wisconsin, I think. So he didn't get to come, so we ended up, having just me and the Beesh in the room, and we had our nice. It's always nice to have a bed to yourself,
Yeah.
To be able to stretch out. I like to stretch out.
I'm just glad I didn't have to sleep on the floor or have to bring a freaking mattress.
That would have sucked.
Oh well.
But it was a good room. It was nice. We had a jacuzzi tub in there. Yes, which I gotta tell you, I recommend that heavily, because they didn't have an indoor pool at this hotel, and I was like, oh man, because that's usually how Dave and I like to relax after a con, is to hit up a hot tub or something like that, or a pool. But this hotel, a lot of the hotels I noticed down here didn't have indoor pools. At least the ones in our price range didn't. But we got this one that had the jacuzzi tub, which was totally a perfect substitute. So yeah,
nice.
We both spent a good large amount of time taking up the bathroom, having long jacuzzi soaks individually. It was quite wonderful. Our special guest,
wait.
GPS guy.
Hey, friends!
Hey, friend. He sounds like it's like Male Surrey from her phone, and it sounds like those two foreign guys from the Family Guy sketches that are almost American, but they say random wrong words or have just a little bit.
To I-65 South.
Let's merge onto I-65 South, friend.
We're going to 65 South, so get to the Green Grocer.
We get to the Green Grocer.
Oh.
Hey, friend, let's go down to the local eatery and get some alcoholic beverages. You know, that kind of shit. This guy cannot drive.
I know.
5.3 miles.
So this is going to be another fun thing, is not only
To I-70 east towards Columbus, Ohio.
are we going to be hearing GPS Guy as his guest star here, but we're going to be hearing us road rage, because we both road rage like crazy, and nobody in Indiana knows how to fucking drive, because nobody anywhere knows how to fucking drive, apparently. It
You guys
doesn't-
gotta learn some like awesome new insults that you never knew were insults before.
Yes, epic new curse words. There's a massive skate park over there. That's awesome. I'm also quite random by looking at shit on the highway and talking about it too. So, but anyway, after we got on a Friday night, we went downtown Indy and checked out.
Dick bag!
Yeah, see. We checked out a place called Scotty's Brew House, which was a restaurant that we were kind of like doing the
Shit stain on Indiana territory.
Googling restaurants to see if it was something fun to do. And we went to this place, and it had really good reviews, but apparently like, we just must have hit it on an off night or something, because we had a very shitty service, like, really shitty service. Our wait was the Invisible Man. Like, he just never materialized until, like, it was time to pay the check.
And he
And,
was like a spineless little bastard.
yeah, he was kind of a fucking
Like, he seemed
jellyfish.
intimidated by me, and I don't know if you guys seen pictures yet, but I am not intimidating.
Well,
I'm tiny.
the Beesh is tiny and unintimidating. He was just a very shitty waiter. I think this dude in front of us is drunk or something. You notice he's just flying all over the fucking place? What the hell?
I'm gonna get scared, actually.
Let's
I'm gonna go away.
be prudent and get past this numbnuts in the fucking
Bye,
Explorer.
nuts.
He looks like a kid learning to drive.
Uh,
You need to be in the student driver mobile, then, jackass.
in the far right lane.
Not anywhere near the freeway at this exact moment. But, no, like, here, this is such a weird thing about this, because, like, the restaurant itself, like, the atmosphere was amazing. It was, like, really pretty, and, like, had a cool setup, and outside they had this really awesome, like,
Oh, it's
burning,
so cool.
like, embers kind of fire pit. And,
It was like a patio, like a classic patio setup.
yeah,
Like
it's so
giant
cool.
couch, and like you could eat out there and drink out there. There's actually like a whole, it looked like a wedding party was out there.
Yeah,
And it was really cool. It just, I don't know, it kind of flopped.
the food, like, I got this Caribbean jerk, like, pineapple
Start with the appetizer.
barbecue sauce.
It was
Okay, yeah.
fucking cold.
So we ordered some queso, like, cheeseburger queso shit, and it was ice fucking cold. It took forever to get there. And it was okay, like, tasted fine, it just was ice fucking cold.
Yeah.
And the waiter, he never gave a fuck enough to come back and see if we were enjoying things or not.
This is the best part. So the whole night, the waiter never actually brought us our food.
Yeah, somebody else
Someone
brought it every
did.
time.
He was
That's so
like, he was
weird.
too chicken shit to actually show his face again.
Yeah.
In 2 miles, take exit 112A on your left to merge onto I-70.
112A, friends.
112A, friends. I sure will, buddy. But no, it just, yeah, he just really fucking kind of sucked. He was terrible, and then the appetizer was disappointing, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So I got this, like, pineapple Caribbean jerk barbecue chicken sandwich, and the sauce tasted good. It was spicier than they let on. Because I asked the fucking waiter, I'm like, is this a spicy thing? And he's like, oh no, it's like a smoky thing. And I was like, when I came and I took a bite of it, I was like, oh, okay, so by smoky you mean spicy. Because fucking spicy is what it was. But it was fine. Like, I enjoyed the taste of it, except for the fact that the chicken was, like, overdone and very stringy. And, like, we got mac and cheese as a side, which was cool. Like, it was cool in the respect that it wasn't one of those, like, you have to pay extra for kind of sides, which usually mac and cheese ends up being like that.
Yeah.
But, this time it was, this time it was, just like one of their included sides, which I thought was really cool.
I don't think there was a side that had like an extra charge. They all
Yeah, there was a list of, like, bigger sides.
Was there? Okay.
I guess, but, like, and the mac and cheese itself was really good, except for they didn't season it at all.
Yeah.
It's like it had no salt, no pepper, no nothing on it. So we actually had to, like, season it ourselves, but it was really cheesy and, like, it was baked mac and cheese. So it was good. And then the thing that you got was, like, this chicken wrap thing.
Okay, so it's spicy chicken wrap. You know, it was like barbecue and pineapple, kind of like it wasn't a jerk, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I assumed it would be spicy, but I feel like this menu needed like the hot peppers stack because this was spicy hell. I actually wrote it on my leftovers box, spicy hell, because This was
Take
just
exit
fire.
112A on the
Like,
left
I would
turn
eat ghost
to
peppers again before I tried to eat this. It
Columbus, Ohio.
was hell.
It was pretty damn belligerent. Thank you, GPS guy.
I know.
He's on the ball.
I know.
The hell on the ball more than my GPS.
She's like, I hear you start to take it right, and she's like, no, wait, you were supposed to take it left like 3 miles ago. What?
Thanks a lot, GPS. Like, you fucking suck. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it was a fail sauce. And like, he never asked once, like, oh, is everything okay or great or blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah, he came at the very end when I already finished the first wrap. He's like, so how did you like it? I was like, wow, it was really spicy. He's like,
on I-70 East.
he was like, do you want ranch? I was like, where were you, like, 20 minutes ago when I was still munching down on the first half, dying? Like, I would have loved some ranch.
anything. Jesus.
Anything. A glass of freaking milk.
But, yeah, I would say it was really, like, everything but the food was, in service was good. Like, I really love the atmosphere. I just had better food and service.
The key points of a restaurant.
Key points of a fucking restaurant, the
It
food
had
and the
the
service.
atmosphere, everything else sucked.
Just fail sauce, saucy, and fail.
Usually places the exact opposite. Atmosphere's kind of shitty, but the food and service is at least decent.
Should have been an omen that we had to go downtown to go there, because downtown equals fail, because you fucking drive on one-way streets, and no downtown ever is good to drive in.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, like, I want to fucking kiss the streets of downtown Columbus. It's so much less irritating than downtowns of other places I've been to, because there's about 70 or 80% less one-way streets in downtown Columbus. Like, there are some down there, but not nearly the number that fucking Indiana, Dayton, Cincinnati, like, all those fucking places are much worse downtowns. Like, or Indianapolis, not Indiana. Like, Indiana's like a city instead of a state. But, like, no, seriously, like, it's fucking, like, mind-blowingly annoying. I had to, like, turn around 50 times trying to fucking find parking. It was just a giant fucking tremendous pain in the ass. But, then, of course, Saturday was the first day of PopCon. And, we did really well, but not at first. Like,
It took about 2 hours.
it took about 2 hours in before we got any play on the game whatsoever. And then after that, we were hopping for the rest of the day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, we did really, really well.
It was a pretty decent stream. Like, people wouldn't, like, it wouldn't be a big wall between people.
I was really excited. I sold some Legacy Rising comics, which is awesome.
That happened pretty early Saturday, too.
I sold 3. I did Vigilance, Heroes International, and Legends of Azure. And so I'm happy, and I did take a picture of that and tagged it up with Mike to see, because he likes to see when people buy books and stuff. So I'm really happy that I could help bring Legacy out to Indy and get some more eyes on the books. And God knows that we support him completely and love everything and everything they do. But that was really cool getting to do that. We got to walk around inside the con itself, and I have to give big credit to Mike Trent and Aaron. I don't know Aaron's last name, but the guys who promoted this show, they did a fucking hell of a job. Like, a real hell of a job. I did not see 1 second where Mike wasn't running his ass off, helping Aaron too, and trying to get people situated and trying to, fill requests. There were some very bitchy cupcake people next to us that were very less than polite.
The owner didn't seem too bad.
Yeah, well, the other lady was terrible.
Yes, it was like whoever was with her. I don't know if it was like her mother or someone like close to her, but she was just so like picky. Like the one lady, even at one point, I thought I heard her say like, "We'll work with what we have," and she's like, "No," and needed like 10 million other tables and 9 other chairs and an electrical outlet. And, like threw a fit that they were moved. Like last minute changes happen. I've staffed conventions before. I understand how much it sucks when we have to change things, but changes happen for a reason. And like we deal with whatever. Why can't you make the best of what you got?
It actually ended up working out kind of well for us though, because like we ended up getting a second table because of it.
Yeah.
Like, because these tables in the hallway where we were, where the podcasts go, and like some of the smaller exhibitors and stuff, they're the kind of like they're 6 feet long, but they're very thin tables, like maybe 2 feet. So
they're kind of like stadium stair benches.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But they don't, like, they're not as roomy, and so, like, we didn't have as much room to set up the game and everything, so we wanted to set up the game and the comics. And so when they decided they didn't want to use that table because it was too small, we asked if we could use it, and they were like, yeah, absolutely. And so, like, we ended up having a second table and getting to have room to spread out and get the comics out there and kind of get people enough room to look at everything and be able to put more prizes out and everything. So that was really good.
Yeah.
I was just psyched about that. The show itself was great. There was a lot of vendors there. They did a big Lego thing this time, which was really cool. Like, I hope you guys watched some of the live streaming I did. I did a bunch of live streaming today and yesterday, showing you like the dealer rooms and everything. There was 2 big dealer rooms. There was a lot of toy dealers there, some comic dealers. There was a small artist alley. It's expanding every time. Last year it was even smaller than that. And this year it was, it expanded it twice.
Size.
So I think that, like, as the years go by, if things keep going as successfully as they have been, that the artist alley will expand out and be kind of, more of a major thing and more of a focus. But it is, of course, a toy show at first. So there's going to be more toy vendors and things like that there. There was a lot of craft vendors, which was really cool. Like a lot of kind of geek-related homemade craft stuff. You ended up getting if you guys watched the live stream video, you saw, like, we both got wallets and we got a messenger bag and stuff. There's really cool stuff like that. I didn't buy a whole lot this year because it's just not financially a great time for me to be spending a ton of money, which I don't have, So, but, I was very satisfied with everything that I did get. Very happy that I got to do a few things at least.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I enjoyed that. But at the end of the first day, we decided to go and we needed to replenish prices. So we did a little shopping. We hit up a Super Target, which I'd never been to before.
Yeah.
Super Target, which had groceries, which was cool, like a big size grocery section.
But we get in there like not even 5 minutes in the door, and freaking they have electrical issues, and power goes out twice.
Scared the shit out of me. We're up just rolling around in a wheelie cart, and they just all of a sudden it's pitch black in the fucking Target. I was like, what the shit? And then it did a weird rolling brownout at some point too. So that was kind of crazy. But it was cool. We got some replenishment and stuff. And we had up a Myers and a Walmart too.
Yeah.
And then we were looking for a place to eat, and we actually went to this. What was the name of the place?
El Mason.
El Mason, which was a Mexican place that was close to where we were in the hotel itself. And this place was fucking fantastic.
Super authentic.
Super authentic Mexican, very, very inexpensive, extremely good waiter who was cracking us up because every time he would talk to us, he would be like, okay, what would you like to order, amigo? Would you like another drink, amigo? Would you like some more?
He greeted us.
Cheese, amigo?
He sat us down. He's like, hey, amigos, I'm going to be with you tonight. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I'm like, man, we are so amigos.
Best amigos.
We are the best amigos of all, amigo.
But by the end of the night, we were dying. I actually signed the thing. Thanks, amigo.
Thanks, amigo.
It was
Rock.
pretty great.
We're totally amigos.
It's totally amigos.
So happy about it.
We go back, he'll take us to Amigoville.
He will take us to Amigoville. You guys that are Scrubs fans will know what I'm talking about there, but no, it was extremely good. I got this chimichanga thing that had a beef chimichanga and a chicken one, and they were and smothered in queso. It was absolutely beautiful. Oh god, it was just epic.
I got a fajita taco salad. And it just sounded good. And he brought this thing out. I swear to God, it's the biggest thing I've ever eaten in my life. And I did demolish quite a chunk of it, but sure got to grab it on my way out.
Yes. She was one disappointed amigo after that.
So disappointed.
Amigo. Oh, amigo. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. We went back to the hotel, had a few peach Mike's hard lemonade, which I didn't even know existed until I guess it's a new thing, and then crashed the frickin' frack out for 10 hours because of the time change.
Yeah.
And then of course we had today, and today was good. It was much slower though, and Sundays always are.
Yeah.
But definitely much slower. We did less than half of what we did the first day, but we still did fine. And it was more than fine. It's paid for dinners and lunches and some of the stuff that we ended up getting. So it was more than a fine time. Saturday, though, I forgot to mention I hosted my very first panel, which was really cool. It was called Unmasked, a guide to starting and promoting your podcast. And I ended up being joined by a couple other podcasters from some different podcasts that were there. There was a lady from the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. There was a guy from Dark Fire Entertainment. And there was a guy from the Showdown podcast.
That's cool.
That was also
Just
there.
fucking do that.
This guy, the fucking giant truck just cut us off. That's lovely. I'm sad that there's not any more road rage included on this.
I'm trying to be nice.
Fuck that shit.
I'm ready to just fucking, like...
Fuck you, amigo!
Fuck you, amigo! We're not amigos!
We're not your fucking amigos anymore.
Fuck you!
Son of a bitch. Now, it was a really cool experience. We got to kind of... we actually had attendance.
Yeah,
I've
go.
been on a good amount of panels now at different shows, but there's generally not a huge amount of attendance, especially because we're doing the smaller shows.
Yeah.
And the fact that this was kind of a last minute thing because another one of the panelists pulled out. And they were going to do a Warble panel about building armor and stuff, and they called it off. So this was kind of a last minute thing, so we didn't get a promotion that some of the other panels got. And really, for that, we actually got some attendance, which was really cool. I enjoy doing it, and I hope to actually kind of format it into something I can take to other shows and do. But that was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed that. I had some great questions and stuff. So that was an absolute blast. But, like I said, we had a good time today. It was slow. I was dragging ass the whole day. I was just dead sleepy.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily awake either, honestly.
But we got through it.
Yeah.
And here we are now.
2 white girl drinks later.
2 white girl coffees. I paid $4 for a fucking monster, which tasted like shit, barely helped.
Oh, okay, so both days. Today was a little better because they closed up shop early. Both days we were sitting right next to the area where they were doing food for the hotel, and I swear to God, they had burgers and all kinds of stuff like that. It was all overpriced as usual, but they had these onions that I swear to God smelled like they were just on the verge of being ripe, way too ripe, and they cooked them up, and that smell was stuck in my fucking nose all day.
Yeah, it was less than
It was disgusting. I hated it.
It was pretty gross. I had a really good time overall. It was a good show. We had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time too.
And I can't wait to come back for next year's Midwest Toyfest.
I hope to join you again.
Yes, I hope so too. But we've got about 20 minutes. We're going to go ahead and tack this on to the show that Dave and I are going to do this week because we don't have a huge amount of time to record. To be perfectly honest, my eyes are friction because I'm really fucking sleepy. So I'm going to go ahead and cut us off. But I want to say again, thank you to Mike Trent and to Aaron for having us out to the show. I always support and promote this show. They've been very good to me and good to the show in general. So we love Midwest Toyfest. And thank you to everybody who stopped by the booth and picked up cards and are listening now. We appreciate you guys. We had fun talking to a lot of people and all the other podcasters that I got to meet and hang out with this trip. I really wanted to say thank you for that too. And just to have a great blast talking to you guys. Do you have any final thoughts on the show?
No, I think you really wrapped it up. I had a lot of fun. I saw a lot of cool people and saw a lot of cool vendors and bought way too much, so it was awesome.
Alright, well, that's going to wrap it up from Interstate 70, going here in the Beesh-mobile. Dear Beesh-mobile. I'm hoping we pass the giant candle building here soon so I can be so happy about it when we see it. There's a building on the side of the road here on 70 on the way back from Indy that is shaped like a candle where they sell candles.
Yeah.
And I just love to be a building that's shaped like the thing that it sells or does or whatever. Like that awesome Longaberger Basket Factory building that's out in Coshocton.
Freaking awesome.
But that's going to wrap it up here from the car in Interstate 70. We will see you guys soon. And back to the regular show as scheduled.
Bye, amigos.
Bye, amigos.